empty. Up the center. Here's Fry. Breaking it left wing, right in on goal. He scores! Alex Fry scores for Orlando. 27 seconds to go. Alex.
Welcome back, fans, to the ECHL Insider. I am your host, Garrett Hunter, and now the time has finally come. It is time for the Kelly Cup playoffs. Before we talk about the opening round of the Kelly Cup playoffs, let's talk about the wild season finale of the regular season last week. You just saw a video of how the Solar Bears clinched their playoff spot with a goal by Alex Fry with only 27 seconds left in the game against the Royals. And the Solar Bears won that game 1-0 to clinch their first playoff berth since 2019. Also around the league, the Wheeling Nailers and Toledo Walleye game on Friday night was canceled due to flooding in Wheeling, West Virginia. And because of that flooding, their game on Saturday against the Cyclones was also moved to the UPMC Lehman-X Sportsplex in Cranberry, Pennsylvania. That is the practice home of the NHL's Pittsburgh Penguins, if that sounds familiar to anybody. And that didn't slow the Nailers down in that game. They won that game 6-0, and with that get a playoff berth. They clinched that on Saturday night. Also, the Tulsa Oilers coming into Saturday afternoon needed a win to lock up their playoff spot in the Mountain Division, and they left no doubt about it with a 4-1 win over the Allen Americans. Now I'm going to preview each game of the first round of the Kelly Cup playoffs. Also, like I've done the last two seasons, I'm going to put my pick. I'm going to tell you my pick for each game, and we'll see at the end of the playoffs how good I did picking each game. So we will start in the Mountain Division, where it will be the Tulsa Oilers and Kansas City Mavericks facing off in the first round. Oilers, the 4 seed, Mavericks, the 1 seed. They are the Brabham Cup champions too. Not only are they number 1 in the Mountain Division, they had the best regular season in the entire ECHL. So my pick for this is going to be the Mavericks. I think they just are such a dominant team. I don't see them slipping up here in the first round. Oilers, definitely a good team. Got to watch out for the Oilers offensively. But in my opinion, the best team in the entire league offensively has been that Kansas City Mavericks team. Might see some high-scoring games in this series. I would expect that. But I see the Mavericks pulling out this series win. And the second game in the Mountain Division, it will be a series between the Allen Americans and Idaho Steelheads. This was the Mountain Division Championship last year, with the Idaho Steelheads winning that series. And I'm going to pick the Steelheads again. I think they had the upper hand on Allen throughout the regular season. I see them with an upper hand in the playoffs as well. Allen's still definitely a good team. You got to watch out for Allen, though, because they had such a hot run to get to the playoffs even. They needed a lot of wins to get here in the final few weeks, and they got those wins. A lot of overtime victories also for the Americans, so they're definitely a dangerous team. It's been playoff hockey for them for like the last 3 weeks. They've needed to win to get to this point, so I think Allen's going to keep that mentality, but I don't think it'll be just enough. I think Idaho is a veteran team, and I think they're ready to make a deep run in the playoffs. Let's go now to the Central Division, where it will be the Kalamazoo Wings and Toledo Walleye. Walleye made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals last year, and I think the year before that, they made it to the Kelly Cup Finals. So they've made it deep 2 years in a row, and for first-year head coach Pat Mikish, I think the Walleye, despite having a first-year head coach, it's like the train just kept on moving in Toledo this year. It's like you couldn't even notice a coaching change. They played so well this year, and because of that, I'm picking them to beat the Wings in the first round. Really impressed with this Toledo team. I think they will be able to get past the Wings, but Kalamazoo got to watch out. I mean, just like Allen, they were, playing playoff hockey. You got to win these games for the past 3 or so weeks. So I think Kalamazoo's dangerous because of that. I think they're also really excited. This is the first time they've made the playoffs in several seasons. So I think Kalamazoo, that excitement also can make them dangerous going against the Toledo Walleye, who has made the playoffs for the last several seasons. Also in the Central Division, second semifinal matchup, it's going to be the Indy Fuel and Wheeling Nailers. I predicted this to be a playoff series a few weeks ago, and sure enough, here we are. Indy got swept in the first round last year by the Walleye. I think this Fuel team is a lot more experienced this time around. I'm picking an upset. Wheeling, I don't know. I don't think Wheeling's getting out of the first round. I think Indy's the more veteran team. I think they will beat the Wheeling Nailers in the first round and advance to the Central Division Championship. Let's go now to the Eastern Conference, and we'll start in the South Division, where it will be the Orlando Solar Bears and the Greenville Swamp Rabbits facing off in the first round. Solar Bears needed a lot of wins to get to this point, like the Allen Americans and Kalamazoo Wings we just talked about. So they've been playing with a winning mentality these last few weeks. An impressive final 13 games of the season for the Solar Bears. And the goaltending, you got to talk about Evan Fitzpatrick. Boy, has he been great in the back half of the season for the Solar Bears. He's made 16 of the last 17 starts in net for the Solar Bears. He is definitely the biggest threat I see on this Solar Bears team. If they're going to advance to the next round of the playoffs, Evan Fitzpatrick is going to have to be a lockdown goaltender for them. And on the other side, the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, offense all over the ice. What a season it was in the South Division for the Swamp Rabbits. They were in first place all the way since November. I mean, this is a very dangerous, offensively gifted Swamp Rabbits team. Very big playoff matchup I'm really looking forward to in the South Division. But I think the Solar Bears will come away with a close victory over the Swamp Rabbits in the first round. And in the other semifinal game in the South Division, probably the most anticipated game in all of the first round of the playoffs, the Jacksonville Icemen and the Florida Everblades will do battle. The last 2 seasons, these teams met in the South Division finals, and both times the Florida Everblades eliminated their rival, the Jacksonville Icemen, on their way to winning a Kelly Cup. So Jacksonville, I think they come in with a lot of motivation. They want to beat Florida. All 3 times in their history that they've played the Everblades, they've been eliminated. I think that will be in the minds of these Jacksonville Icemen players. They want to get past Florida. Florida seems to be the standard in the South Division. They've won back-to-back cups, and I think Jacksonville really, really wants to take them down this playoff series. I think it will be a very close series, but I don't think they'll dethrone the king. I got the Florida Everblades winning this first round against the Jacksonville Icemen in the South Division. Let's go now to the final division, the North Division, where it will be the Maine Mariners and Adirondack Thunder facing off. These teams met in the final 4 games of the regular season last week, where the Mariners needed a dramatic overtime winner to clinch their spot in the playoffs. You'll see a clip of that at the end of this episode. But in the first round now, they played last week. How does that factor into the way they play this week now in the playoffs? I think Adirondack, they knew they were going to be first place. I wonder if they took their foot off the gas. They didn't want to show too much of their plays, too much of their style to the Mariners because of that last week. I don't know. They won 3 out of 4, though, against the Mariners last week. So Adirondack definitely showed that they can beat the Mariners. I definitely think that was shown last week. Adirondack, I pick you guys to beat the Mariners in the first round, but this will be a close series. The Mariners are definitely a scrappy hockey team to play against. They have been eliminated in the first round the last 2 seasons. They want to get past the first round just as much as the Thunder do in that North Division. In our final playoff series, the Trois-Rivières Lions and Norfolk Admirals. Admirals, just 2 seasons ago, the very worst team. 1 season ago, the worst team in the ECHL, and they clinched a 2 seed in the North Division this year. What a comeback for head coach Derek Carr for the Norfolk Admirals. Boy, was he good as coaching decisions in Norfolk for them. But they're going up against a Trois-Rivières team that also was very good this year in the North Division. Fought through a lot of adversity on and off the ice, did the Lions to get to this point. So I think the Lions, they're going to keep it close, but the Admirals have a very veteran group they're working with. I see the Admirals winning and advancing to round 2 in the playoffs. Well, now check out that video I mentioned before about how the Maine Mariners got an overtime goal to clinch the playoffs, and we will see you in a week from now to give you an update on round 1 of the Kelly Cup playoffs. Enjoy the Kelly Cup playoffs. Make sure to subscribe to our channel below, and we'll see you for an update next week.
Kyle at the right circle to Kalmakov. Kyle, one-timer, he scores! legend, Alex Kyle, has sent the Maine Mariners to the playoffs.